All right, it's time for your intermission inquiry brought to you by String King here, Scott. And let's go. We don't know what the questions are here. They get fired at us. So let's take a look here and see what question number one is.
What is the biggest factor for growth / popularity of lacrosse in North America?
What is the biggest factor for the growth popularity of... Okay, you start. Fire away.
The biggest factor, I think, is all the scholarships that you can get now. And I think people realize that you don't have to pay for education if you're good at lacrosse. That wasn't the case back in my day. I don't know anyone really who went on a scholarship, like maybe one or two guys, but now it seems everybody is going. It's hurting the Junior A program because all those guys are in school and it's overlapping the Junior A season, but I think that's the growth. And obviously teams like the Lakers out there, all these kids on the floor, that certainly helps as well.
Well, it is, and you know what? In lacrosse is being it's exposed in a lot of places now. I mean, Tracy Koluski is over helping coach Team Finland right now. That's fantastic, and on the girls' side of things as well, too. That's you talk about the scholarships. So many, you know, Erica Evans, all these girls that are getting scholarships as well, and it's just helping grow the game of lacrosse. So I'll go with you, man. That's a great answer. Let's look at number two here and see what's happening here. What is the biggest threat to the growth / popularity of lacrosse in North America?
We don't have the issue here, but at top levels, I think the lack of TV coverage is what's hurting it. You can't find a game. So you look at the National Lacrosse League, how do I find a game? You can't. You've got to go online, you've got to find NLL TV, you got to pay for their package. There's a lot of legwork. As a diehard lacrosse fan, I don't want to go through all those steps, so the average lacrosse fan's not going through those steps. That's what's hurting the growth of the game. They need a TV deal, and they need a consistent one.
You're right. We're lucky here in a market like Peterborough. Whitby is a good lacrosse market, especially at the minor program as well down in that area. But as much as we love the game, we're also the first ones to admit that the sport of lacrosse will often shoot themselves in the foot a lot. And I think that's what you're saying here. They have to start doing things more consistently on a professional basis and get to the next level where maybe hockey is at and maybe even where basketball is at right now, you know, and go from there. And I know down in Toronto and Oakville what Jamie Dowick's doing down there, he's doing that, but there's got to be more of that going on in more places. So, you know, that's my general thought on that. But certainly the other thing that might be hurting the game a little bit is kids playing other sports year-round. There's a lot of kids now that play hockey 12 months of the year, and they're not getting out and playing the game of lacrosse. So we'll throw that into the mix as well.
And I'll throw something into the mix. Bob McKenzie, who a lot of people look up to as an NHL insider, he has tweeted on several occasions, kids, play lacrosse or another sport in the summer. Switch it up. It is good to throw something else into the mix.
All right. So, well, Bob McKenzie's big on Twitter, so maybe one day we can get him to get in on our Twitter question. Which version of lacrosse builds the greater base of skills? Field lacrosse, box lacrosse, depends on the player, or just flip a coin?
It's a pretty tricky one. Look at a guy like Chris Cloutier playing for the Coburg Kodiaks, the MSL's #1 draft pick last year. He switches hands like no other, drives through the lane. That's from field lacrosse. That's where he learned that. But I think overall, I think he's a unique player. I think box lacrosse develops skills more. Field, you're on a huge, massive open area. You're not getting hit like in box. You're contained. You have to have some awesome hands, and you have to be pretty slippery to play box lacrosse. And I think that's why so many Canadians are excelling at the field level, because all of their box skills are translating to the field. So I'd have to go with box.
One of the advantages of field lacrosse is it might be easier to pick up at a later age, if you will. If you just start playing at high school, it might be a little, because you know you got a little more room. You can play long pull. There's different options there. But I think box lacrosse certainly makes field lacrosse players. If you play both, you can be pretty creative field lacrosse players. So, interesting question. Did we have the results of it? Which one? Oh, there it is. Yeah, box lacrosse got. I mean, that's coming from mostly a town and an audience, and that are box lacrosse first. But yeah, field lacrosse coming in at 20%, 19%. Depends on the player, which is actually the one I voted for.
At the same time, String King, who's one of our sponsors, they did retweet this. They've got a huge American following for where they are, so might have been a mix of Peterborough fans and some American fans voting as well. But yeah, box lacrosse winning, and yeah, I'll stick with that answer as well, because I do think you can really develop skills here in this tight, closed quarter environment.
Speaking of skills, we'll see some skills next. Highlights and trivia right after this.